Yeah. Because speaking of conductor, Mark has some different idea, right? Like this kind of different chemistry stuff.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because sometimes when you see conductors, they're pretty colorful. Crazy hair or, clothing or active and all that stuff. So how, for me, to be honest, sometimes when I look at a conductor, it seems like, yeah, I know they're, super important with the flow of everything. But on the other hand, sometimes it just seems like, oh, come on. You raise your hand this high compared to this high. Does that matter that much? You know what I mean? Can you explain why the conductor is so critical?
Yes. Well, yes and no. There was a famous conductor called Gergiev. He's from Russia. He used to use a toothpick as a conducting stick, a baton.
Yeah.
And when people asked him, why are you using a toothpick? He said, it doesn't matter because this is just to make myself look important. I don't need to have it. So he was kind of, making fun of this whole situation. But also in a good orchestra, conductor, people is kind of make fun of this whole situation. They are kind of there to look important. Because without a conductor in the middle, it's just, I don't know, it looks and feels empty. So just has to have someone stand there and look important. But but jokes aside, we need conductors through the rehearsals, give them their ideas and opinions and their musical input. Because otherwise it's impossible to have 100+ musicians on stage all agree on a direction with who do they follow. Concertmaster, yes, but they are busy with their own thing and they can't often show the beat.
So the time when the conductor is super important is during the rehearsals, in the sense that they'll listen to your feedback and adjust things and tie everything together.
Yeah, that's it. It's like in a company there will be the kind of manager position, or they will just have an overview of everything and then tweak some things to make it function better, sound better, and encourage musicians. A bad conductor wouldn't sort of.
It's kind of hard to know when to start, when to stop.
Well, a bad conductor, from my experience, they don't know how to communicate with musicians.
Okay.
So they would say, how do you say, the language becomes kind of bad. I don't know, it's quite difficult to explain. When musicians feel that they're not respected because the conductor says something hurtful or something
really bad
that could be taken personally, yes, then the musicians, from my experience, they kind of lose respect of the conductor and it kind of becomes sort of a drag. But when you have someone who you can really engage with, and even without speaking, they can show from their gestures and from their expression,
that's something Tim and I were talking about a little bit, is because in basketball, chemistry is super important for a team, right? You could have stars, but if they don't play well together, there's a problem. So, for example, if the conductor, kind of a little bit too harsh or things like that. So can you explain chemistry in an orchestra, what that's like? And
it's very difficult to have so many musicians in the same room or on stage, and they all agree on something, or they even like everyone, like any company or
any group,
and with so many people who have strong ideas on their own interpretation of
even
music.
Ego stuff.
Also ego has a lot to do with
influence the chemistry,
and that's why it's this conductor position becomes important, because that person has to find something that clicks with everyone.
So in a way, even though they might disrupt people's feelings at times, on the other hand, they have to bring everything back together, kind of.
Yeah, but even then, musicians with members, colleagues with high egos will still refuse to play what the conductor asks of them, because they think, no, we are this orchestra, we have to play like that.
Okay.
So it does happen.
So in those kind of circumstances, does the conductor just kind of determine, okay, this is not super important, so okay.
Yes, because rehearsal times are usually not a lot, so we don't get a lot of time to prepare, and the rehearsal times are limited.
Okay.
So you cannot spend so much time working on one thing, because you really have to move on. There are other pieces,
other things you have to deal with.
Yeah. So, but I mean, a good orchestra will know, will just know how it should sound like and just make it work.
Yeah. Another thing I'm really curious about, because for example, jazz or the blues, right? Sometimes they'll just have a portion where one instrument or the whole band will play creatively. So does that ever happen in an orchestra where there's certain instruments or sections or the whole orchestra? I don't know, maybe you come up with it ahead of time, but it's still kind of like a creative combination or something?
Are you talking about improvisation?
Yeah, definitely.
This
improvisation.
this does not happen in classical music.
Okay, that's right. I didn't think so, but I was curious.
Yeah, and classical music are mostly not trained with how to improvise. So when something goes wrong, our heart stops, skips a few beats during concerts.
Okay.
But that's why we practice to make sure nothing goes wrong. So we are very much, we respect the manuscript of the composer. We do what it's written on
the script
paper.
But speaking of like conductors and different orchestras, but I listen to different kind of composers, and for certain orchestra they have different kind of volume speed on certain pieces. Why is that? It's like you say, they follow the script written on the paper. But
I mean, let's take the Beethoven 5 example we had earlier. I don't know how many orchestras recorded this.
I know.
From there. I mean, yes, there's different speed, because for Beethoven's example, his metronome, the one that kind of calculates the tempo, how fast things go. It was known to be broken. So what he thought was, what he thought was a normal tempo could have ended up too fast. And every conductor has their own interpretation of how it should sound like.
Okay.
And they're free to do that, because that's what's comes with their position. But no one is right or wrong. I mean, of course, there are many people who think there are many wrong ways to play it. But like with, I don't know, if you see a painting or if you see a basketball player, when someone is good, you could try to explain the reasons why they're good. I mean, you just know they're good. So in this same way, I feel you just know something is good if you feel like it's natural and sort of, how do you say, is a good representation of the characteristics of the piece. There are many clues to that. Right. The manuscript. Right. The key, the described tempo, the expression, it's all written in the paper. That's a good, very good indication of how it should sound. So if it's far from that, then I guess it's not really correct.
So you used to have like standard to evaluate this kind of good or bad composers, conductors?
I mean, everyone's free to think what they want. But the good, how do you say, interpretation would be more often played.
Oh, okay. that's the genuine style.
Yeah, I think so. But also with different era, it's different style.
Right.
So,
yeah, like you say, Beethoven Symphony 5, it's different kind of style.
Well, I mean, if Beethoven 5 played today, would probably sound very different from the Beethoven 5 played 100 years ago.
Yeah, I can tell.
And so there are lots also trends in classical music.
Yeah, even the same orchestra.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, not all of them. Some orchestras think, we had this golden age of this golden conductor, therefore we have to stay like that forever, kind of that very traditional style.
Okay.
Orchestras which
just follow the traditional style to play.
I guess, yeah.
Mm-hmm.